necessary for everyone, not only during pregnancy. After this presentation, you will have the basic guidelines to have a safe pregnancy through nutrition, dietary changes, and the lifestyle management. So stages of pregnancy. Firstly, there are three trimesters in pregnancy. That is, your first 12 weeks is going to be your first trimester, during which the brain, spinal cord, and the circulatory system begins to form. Arms, leg births, and all appear. Baby grows about one third of an inch. Eye starts forming, and the nerves and muscles begin to work together. Eyelids close to like protect the developing eyes. The size of the baby would be somewhere around a lentil or something like that. And second trimester, it is after 12 weeks. Muscle tissue and bone continues to form. The baby is about 4 to 5 inch long and almost 3 ounces in weight. So 3 ounces is nothing but 0.8 kgs. And lanugo started to form. Lanugo is nothing but the hair that is on the baby. While it's born, you can see the lanugo hair. And footprints and fingerprints and all has formed. Hair is growing on the baby's head. The lung starts to form. The baby sleeps and wakes up regularly. Weighs about 1.5 pounds, which is nothing but 2.7 kg, and about 12 inches long. This would be somewhere around like a banana. And then the third trimester, the bones are fully formed, weighs about 6 pounds, and then the vernix coating starts to thicken. So vernix is nothing but the coating of the baby while it's born, right? There is a cheese-like layer on the baby, so that is what is vernix is. Their organs are fully developed and the labor follows. So this is the picture depicting the size of the baby in each week of the pregnancy. With weeks, along with the weeks, I have depicted the trimester. First trimester is till the 13th week. Second trimester follows till 26th week, and then the third trimester from 26th to 40th week. And then the first important point during pregnancy is your weight gain. So weight gain depends on two primary, can be classified as two primary, based upon two primary things. That is, firstly, on your trimester. During your first trimester, the ideal weight gain is somewhere around 1.5 kgs. And in your second and third trimester, each week you will have to gain about 0.5 kgs. So, and based on the BMI, before your pregnancy, your BMI, that BMI is what is calculated here. Before your pregnancy, if you're under 18.5, your BMI is under 18.5, you are classified as underweight women. So then your weight gain should be somewhere around 12.5 to 18 kgs. Normal weight 11.5 to 16 kgs, and then overweight 7 to 11.5 kgs. Obesity 6.8 kgs. No matter what your weight is, you will have to gain weight. And for twins, it is necessary that you gain about 15 to 20 kgs.
So, like, according to your BMI, it would be somewhere around, even if you're underweight or obese, like whatever your BMI is before your pregnancy, you still have to gain weight. No matter what, there's nothing like losing weight during your pregnancy or on being on a diet. And then if you're an underweight person, the weight gain should be somewhere around 12.5 to 18 kgs. And if you're a normal weight person, it should be somewhere around 11.5 to 16 kgs. Overweight person somewhere around 7 to 11.5 kgs. Obesity, the weight gain is little minimal, 6.8 kgs. And the twins should gain, like if you're carrying a twin, it should be somewhere around 15 to 20 kgs. Like every other people can mute their audios.
जाते हो ना घंटी घंटी को हाथ नहीं लगाया करो.
Can everyone mute their audios, please?
हाँ मना करती हूँ ना.
Maternal weight gain is strongly correlated with the infant's birth weight.
अब रहने दो उधर जाओ.
And then the components of weight gain. So these are the components of weight gain. Your breast gains about 1 to 1.5 kgs, and then the extra fluids that is surrounding your baby is somewhere around 1 to 1.5 kg. And then your blood volume increases during pregnancy, which is somewhere around 2 kgs increase. And then your uterus also swells up, right? So it will be somewhere around 1 to 1.5 kg. And then your baby itself gains about 2.5 to 3.5 kgs. Placenta and amniotic fluid is somewhere around 2 to 2.5 kgs, and then energy stored as fat is like 2 to 3.5 kgs.
आप ही को मेरे साथ दूध भी पीना है।
The importance of nutrition starts even before pregnancy. So can everyone mute all their audios, please?
15 मिनट में आ जाऊँ, 15 से 20 मिनट। नहीं आप कर लो।
That you have to eat for two. It is usually recommended to add at least 300 calories per day in all the 3 trimesters. It's not each meal that you have to add 300 calories. It is only in a day you'll have to add 300 calories. An additional 300 calories may somewhat look like all these examples stated below. That can be 2 servings of Pro 360 Mom, or a vegetable sandwich with cheese, a bowl of oats, or porridge with nuts, 2 to 3 idlis with sambar. So it is not in a single meal that you have to take. If you are a person who usually eats 2 to 3 idlis, you can add 1 more idlis to your meal. And in the night or in the lunch, you can add 1 more idli. That is all that is necessary. So why do we need extra calories? So like extra calories is very important for the increased metabolism, for the increased physical activity, for the fetal growth and the maternal changes that is happening inside your body. So during this phase, you should not probably dieting. So calories are very important. And then comes your proteins. So protein, increased maternal protein synthesis, that is your blood volume increases, your uterus, breast, fetal and placental proteins and all, everything increases. So along with this, your muscle, organ, blood tissue development for your baby is also dependent on proteins. Proteins are directly proportional to your birth weight of the baby. So recommended dietary allowance suggests that additional 23 grams of protein, for example, 2 servings of Pro 360 Mom with milk is going to give you 23 grams of protein, and 4 boiled eggs or 200 grams of chicken or 300 ml of milk. This is not in a single serving. You can like split and take it in throughout the day. Some of the protein foods are shrimps, oats, lentils, tofu, milk. You can have a look at the slide. Next is our carbohydrates. So carbohydrates is an important source of energy, which is going to make you able to do work. So also the other important point about carbohydrates is like the brain can only sense the carbohydrates as a form of energy for it to work. So if you don't take carbohydrates, even if you are not pregnant, it is not going to help you. Okay, so in a long run, it is going to make your brain activity little lesser. And then baby requires about 17 to 26 grams per day of carbohydrates, which would look like something like 2 servings of our Pro 360 Mom, or 300 ml of milk, 3 slices of bread, or a bowl of sprout salad. If at all, if you are taking carbohydrates, it is very important to keep in mind if you have gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is nothing but a pseudo diabetes. It is a false diabetes which developed in the 2nd and 3rd trimester of your pregnancy. This is because the placenta, that is where the nutrients get transferred to your baby. So the placenta also releases some of the hormones which is counteracting your insulin. Insulin is what is very necessary for you to digest the carbohydrate. So if there is a counteracting hormone which has been sent from your placenta, it is gives you a gestational diabetes. So if you have gestational diabetes, it is very important for you to have a whole grain diet which is high in fiber. About 19% of the women who have gestational diabetes are more prone to have type 2 diabetes in the later stages of their life. Down the line, 5 to 10 years, they might even have diabetes, type 2 diabetes. And then comes the fat. So fat metabolism is significantly altered during pregnancy. That is your transient maternal hyperlipidemia, which is nothing but your triglyceride, free fatty acid, your cholesterol, everything goes high during the 3rd trimester, mostly during your 3rd trimester. This is due to that there is an alteration in your fat metabolism. So during this, your fetal metabolism is completely dependent on the fat deposition. So this is also during your 2nd and 3rd trimester. About 16% of the baby's birth weight is dependent on fats that you're taking. So fat has also been associated with fetal growth and lung maturation and brain development. About 20% of your total calories should come from fat. Approximately somewhere around 30 grams of fat is recommended for a day. in fats also there are some things which you should take and which you should not take. So the good fats, which is omega-3 and omega-6, is very essential during your pregnancy. So this is an essential fatty acid, and of which DHA, that is docosahexaenoic acid, is very important for the optimal health and fetal development. Of about 200 mg per day is recommended by the RDA. So like DHA helps in the healthier vision, cognition, and immunity. And in the third trimester, about 50 to 60% of the DHA that you've been taking will be transferred to the baby through placenta. So like you will be not, you will not have to worry about weight gain and all. It is very important that you include good fats in your diet, not the bad fats like trans fats and all. So 200 mg of DHA will somewhere look like 100 grams of almonds has 32 grams of DHA, and hence adding a supplement meets the demands of pregnancy requirements. So 2 servings will give you about like 50 grams of DHA per day. So micronutrients and vitamins and minerals which is important are, firstly, your calcium. So the regular requirement for calcium is about 600 mg. During pregnancy, 600 like an additional 600 mg is added, which will be like somewhere around 1200 mg of calcium should be taken per day during pregnancy. So calcium helps in like calcification of bones and teeth, and it also like it is not fully developed at the time of birth, but still your at the time of birth your body, or like your fetus body, will have about 30 grams of calcium. So increased demand during lactation prevents the osteoporosis and all. So you will have to take calcium for the increased demand during pregnancy, and also it prevents your osteoporosis later stages of life. If you are not taking enough calcium, the baby is going to pull out all the calcium from your bones, and it might become porous, that is it might become weak, so that you can have osteoporosis. Then is our iron. So the regular recommendation of iron is somewhere around 21 mg. During pregnancy, an additional 14 mg is necessary. That is somewhere around 35 mg per day. So babies are born with high hemoglobins, that is 18 to 22 grams per DL. As the breastfeeding lacks iron, fetus stores for 3 months. That is like your breastfeeding does not have iron in it. So it is very important for you to take enough iron during the pregnancy, so that the fetus can store the iron and which can use it for the next 3 to 6 months. And also your blood volume increases during pregnancy. So is your hemoglobin, so is your other protein requirement increases. So blood volumes increases of about 100 mg, that's 400 mg. And then hematopoiesis and maternal blood loss happens. So during your labor, you might lose many blood from your body. So it is very important that you include good amount of iron to meet the demands of all these. So there are heme iron and non-heme iron. So heme iron are more efficiently absorbed by the body, which are all non-vegetarian sources of iron. Non-heme iron are the vegetarian sources of iron, which is not absorbed efficiently, but like this absorption can be improved with an additional intake of vitamin C. Next is your iodine. So additional 25 mg of iodine is necessary. So the normal requirement is somewhere around 100 to 200 mg per day. So deficiency leads to negative outcomes like miscarriages or the abnormality in babies. Iodine is generally important for the thyroid function and controls the metabolism, which regulates the heart rate and body temperature. So requirement is very tiny, but it plays a vital role in the fetal development. Next is your folate. So folate supplement should start even when you're planning your pregnancy. It is not only during your pregnancy, even before planning your pregnancy, you should start taking folate. So the regular recommendation are 200 mg, but during pregnancy, it is very important that you take 400 milligrams per day. It helps in the normal fetal growth, and which prevents macrocytic anemia. Folate also helps in the secretion of hormones, which is very important for the synthesis of DNA and RNA, thereby including the development of RBCs. Many studies have shown that red cell folate levels 40 mg per day are the best for the preventing neural tube defects in babies. So like the more common neural tube defects in babies are spina bifida. Foods rich in folate are some of the things mentioned in the slide. You can have a look at them. Then is your vitamin D. So vitamin D is not only important for your calcium absorption, it plays a vital role in the immunity. During this COVID-19 situation, it is very important to develop a good immunity for you and your baby. Healthy cell division happens if you're taking enough vitamin D, and if it is absorbs calcium, it is also going to help in your bone health. Vitamin D requirements are very less. If you're exposing yourself to the sun in between 11 to 3 p.m. for about 20 to 30 minutes every day, it's going to suffice your vitamin D in requirements. Other nutrients are zinc. The deficiency are very rare, and the negative, like if at all, if there is a deficiency, the negative outcomes may proceed. There is no scientific evidence that zinc deficiency causes negative outcomes. And some of the zinc rich sources are cocoa, and then your nuts, peanuts, liver, etc. Sodium. So the same normal requirements of sodium is maintained even during pregnancy, but if at all if there is a deficiency, sodium deficiency, eclampsia, or eclampsia is nothing but pregnancy induced hypertension, so which can occur during pregnancy or prematurity activity. So regular exercise is very important even during pregnancy. So like there's no myth called like you should not exercise if you're pregnant. So moderate intensity of about 30 minutes a day is ideal. Of about 5 days in a week is very important, so which is like helps you to keep your heart and lungs healthy. So avoid exercising flat on the back after first trimester. So for mothers, the physical activity helps in the improved cardiorespiratory function, and limited pregnancy weight gain decreases the discomfort during pregnancy, and it also helps in mood stabilization. For baby, it is also important for the decreased fat mass, advanced neurobehavioral maturation. So what about prenatal supplement? Like prenatal supplements are very important, but it is not going to be a meal. It is just a supplement. So it is just an alternative for food. You should never depend on a supplement. It should be a complement for your food. So the foods which you need to avoid during pregnancy are beverages which has high alcohol content and high caffeinated drinks, and then raw eggs, undercooked like meat or non-vegetarian sources, alcohol and smoking, high mercury fishes. These are some of the fishes which has high mercury, swordfish, shark, and king mackerel. These are all some of the very high mercury fishes. And unpasteurized milk, that is the milk that you get in the from the farmers, the cow's milk they say, right? These are all not good for your health during pregnancy. So some of the complications during pregnancy are minor complications such as morning sickness. You might feel like the need to puke in the morning. This is what is morning sickness is. So this happens because the gastric rhythm changes during pregnancy. So the gastric rhythm changes in the sense like your hormones, the progesterone is very high, which might make you sick in the morning. So like it is very important for you to have something like biscuits or crackers in the morning to suffice this. And then other important things during like morning sickness is rest. You need to have proper rest. Tiredness can also make nausea worse, so getting plenty of rest is very vital. So and then your liquids, so fluid intake should be regular and in small quantities rather than less often and large quantities. Foods, consume your meals in smaller quantities, more meals per day rather than having a larger meal per day. activity. So regular exercise is very important even during pregnancy. So like there's no myth called like you should not exercise if you're pregnant. So moderate intensity of about 30 minutes a day is ideal. Of about 5 days in a week is very important. So which is like helps you to keep your heart and lungs healthy. So avoid exercising flat on the back after first trimester. So for mothers, the physical activity helps in the improved cardiorespiratory function, and limited pregnancy weight gain decreases the discomfort during pregnancy, and it also helps in mood stabilization. For baby, it is also important for the decreased fat mass, advanced neurobehavioral maturation. So what about prenatal supplement? Like prenatal supplements are very important, but it is not going to be a meal. It is just a supplement. So it is just an alternative for food. You should never depend on a supplement. It should be a complement for your food. So the foods which you need to avoid during pregnancy are beverages which has high alcohol content and high caffeinated drinks, and then raw eggs, undercooked like meat or non-vegetarian sources, alcohol and smoking, high mercury fishes. These are some of the fishes which has high mercury, swordfish, shark and king mackerel. These are all some of the very high mercury fishes. And unpasteurized milk, that is the milk that you get in the from the farmers, the cow's milk they say, right? These are all not good for your health during pregnancy. So some of the complications during pregnancy are minor complications such as morning sickness. You might feel like the need to puke in the morning. This is what is morning sickness is. So this happens because the gastric rhythm changes during pregnancy. So the gastric rhythm changes in the sense like your hormones, the progesterone is very high, which might make you sick in the morning. So like it is very important for you to have something like biscuits or crackers in the morning to suffice this. And then other important things during like morning sickness is rest. You need to have proper rest. Tiredness can also make nausea worse. So getting plenty of rest is very vital. So and then your liquids. So fluid intake should be regular and in small quantities rather than less often and large quantities. Foods. Consume your meals in smaller quantities. More meals per day rather than having a larger meal per day. And then stomach. So pregnant women with morning sickness should try to avoid having an empty stomach. Early mornings, many women find that eating plain biscuits about 20 minutes before getting up helps. So try to take biscuits or crackers in the morning before waking up from the bed. So try to avoid the triggers which makes you sick in the morning. Next is your pica. So pica is like cravings for a non-nutritive food like ash, chalk, lead. These are all some of the non-nutritious food which you can crave during your pregnancy. So the cause is unknown, but some say like like if you have iron deficiency, anemia, which you will have more complications like pica is always there. And this is absolutely no good for you as well as your baby. Other cravings like pickles or ice cream, this is like very common, so which is very normal also. If you're craving for something non-nutritive which has to be given attention to, which is absolutely no good for you and your baby. These are generally called delicious dirt. And then next is your constipation. So if you're not drinking enough water, you will have constipation during your pregnancy. And if your food is not having enough fiber, you are more prone to have constipation. Then your hormone progesterone is the culprit for every other complication as well. And then medications. If you are on a medication like during your pregnancy, some medications might also trigger constipation. Supplements like iron supplements are more prone to constipation. And during your pregnancy, the absorption of water is more because all the fluids increases in your body. So you need to keep yourself hydrated so that your water is enough, so that your stools are not so hard, which might trigger your constipation. The other most common reason for constipation is dehydration and lack of exercise. If you're not exercising properly, you might tend to have constipation. So what all my recommendation would be is, firstly, take a high protein, high fiber diet. Ideally, you will have to consume about 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. So fruits and vegetables or breakfast cereals like whole grain breakfast cereals, whole grain breads, prunes, fig and dates are very important to prevent your constipation. The next is lots of fluid. Try to drink at least 10 to 12 cups of water per day. Exercise routinely. So for your constipation, the other remedy is like exercise routinely, at least 30 minutes a day for 5 days in a week is very essential for you to prevent constipation. Then is your edema. So many women will face this edema during pregnancy. This is a very mild complication, and if you have edema, which is nothing to worry about, because your extremities try to extremities have been enlarged due to pregnancy, because your uterus gets enlarged and it puts a pressure on your veins so that your extremities enlarges, so which is very common. You don't have to worry, and no restriction is needed for this. Like, you just have to be like sleeping good and walking regularly. That's all is needed for edema. And then is your heartburn. So heartburn is common during all the trimester, because your progesterone increases. What it does is, the end of the esophagus, which touches your stomach, is always relaxed, which means a progesterone keeps the end of the esophagus always open, so that the stomach contents touches the esophagus, which gives you the heartburns. Because stomach content like has HCl, so which is going to be acidic in nature, which gives you some of the heartburn. But try to avoid taking very fatty foods and deep fried foods and spicy foods during pregnancy if you have the symptoms of heartburns. And also try to take good amount of water at least 30 minutes after your meals, not just before your meals or after your meals. So then comes your breastfeeding. It is very important for you to breastfeed your baby at least 6 to 12 months after your baby is born. This has several benefits for you as well as your baby. So what is your opinion on this? I would like to see some of the comments in the comment section there. It's your baby. So for you, it is very convenient, which is very cheap, and the bonding between you and your baby is going to be like immense if you are feeding your baby, and it prevents breast cancer also. So, and it is also proven that if you are feeding your baby for 6 to 12 months, your maternal weight gain is soluble. Like you will lose all the weight that you gained in your maternal period. So it is very important for you to do the breastfeeding. And also it helps in contracting your uterus. So like while the baby is born, your uterus may be expanded, so like it can contract your vagina if you're feeding your baby. So next, for your baby, so infant immunity increases, so it is a wonder food for babies. Breastfeeding has all the nutrients which is needed for the baby for till 6 months. So after 6 months, you will have to start with complementary foods like apple or stew or something like that should be started after 6 months only. So before 6 months, the baby absolutely needs nothing except your breastfeed. So, and for baby, it is also like good for immunity, and bacterial contamination is absolutely nil in breastfeeding, and the bonding between you and baby increases. And it also minimizes the fact like childhood obesity, and ideal nutrition is given. Like as I said, breastfeeding has all the nutrients and easily available. Whenever the baby is hungry, you can just feed them. And it is also proven that breastfeeding is the only feed which has no allergies for the baby. So nutrients need for lactation. So after baby is born, about 6 months, you will have to have 600 calories per day. And after 7 to 12 months, you will be needing only 520 calories per day. So protein needs are equally similar. So for 0 to 6 months, it's about 23 grams, as similar as your pregnancy time. And after your pregnant, like 7 to 12 months, it is about 15.2 grams. Your protein requirement reduces after 6 months. And then your calcium still remains the same, 1200 mg, because you're feeding your baby, so it is very important to have enough calcium. So these are some of the nutrients that you'll have to look for during your lactation. So can I have some high calorie foods and protein rich foods in your chat session? Can someone name some of the calorie and protein rich food? So proper weight gain is very important in maintaining the health and well-being of the mother as well as the baby. So some of the important nutrients are vitamin D, calcium, DHA, iodine, iron, and folic acid. So exercise during pregnancy is beneficial for baby and mother. So these recommendations are applicable even for others who wants to lead a healthy lifestyle. It's not only for pregnancy, even if you want to lead a healthy lifestyle, you can follow the same guidelines. Now I will answer all the questions in the chat session. 360 mom, which is very, very ideal and appropriate for all the mothers out there. So during pregnancy, your all the nutrition demands are like taken care by our Pro 360 mom. So Pro 360 mom comes in a flavor called dry fruits with saffron. So dry fruits is going to give you all the nutrients, iron, zinc, and folic acid. Everything is going to be from your Pro 360 mom, and it also has saffron. So saffron is a very important nutrient which is not going to give you the baby color and all, but it is very necessary for your digestion, and it also prevents the blood pressure also. So it is very important that you take saffron for all the other benefits, not only your fetus color and complexion. And we have good amount of vitamin D and all the DHA that is necessary for your baby. 2 servings of this will give you around 100 mg of DHA, which is necessary for your baby's brain development. And saffron, as I said, it is going to help you release some digestive juices, which prevents you from having heartburn and all. We would also link the product down below. You can have a look at it, and if you like to buy it, you can buy from the link which is given.